to talk to you a little bit about three things today. So I'm going to cover the importance of actually having a responsive strategic framework, the benefits of being purpose-led, and the opportunities which we find ourselves in at the moment. A change environment really does provide us. So moving on to the first point, and the importance of a responsive strategic framework. So at BDO, our strategic framework has really anchored our decision making. We brought our strategic framework into the business 4 years ago when Paul Eagland, our managing partner, took head of the helm, and it has achieved a lot of consistency, understanding, belonging and focus for the entire firm. Our strategic framework is made up of 4 components: our purpose, our vision, our values and our strategy. And when I talk to people in the business, I use a boat analogy to try to bring that to life, because sometimes strategy can be quite challenging in terms of understanding what it means in respect to the whole firm, but also what it really means at an individual level. And this boat analogy is very much in respect of our purpose. That's why you get in the boat in the first place. Our vision is very much, where is it we want to get to? What is that destination? What does great look like? Values is really about how we're going to behave with each other on that journey, so it's as enjoyable as it can be. And our strategy is the destination points that we're going to take, the decisions we're going to make on that journey to get to that destination. But whilst providing structure, I think it's really important that your strategy in particular is flexible enough to respond to the external and the internal environment. What we're going through at the moment, these unknowns. And we're finding that at BDO, our strategy is robust enough in that we have an acronym to describe our strategy. It's called BUILD. And those 5 pillars have not changed just because of C19. But absolutely the priorities within that strategy, we have had to adapt. So we have that relentless eye now on the short term, whilst also keeping many eyes on the future. Now, you heard me talk in terms of our strategic framework, that we start with our purpose. So that takes me on to the second point, and that's the benefits of being purpose-led. And I strongly believe at the moment that the world is really watching how businesses are behaving during these times, the decisions we're making, and how we're responding, how we're treating our suppliers, our people, our clients. And we really should want to be judged on our purpose. That there's a great quote by McKinsey, and I used this at a recent core purpose workshop that I ran with our champions. And it says, at a time of great uncertainty, gut check your decisions against your values as a leader and as an organization. Do your choices align with your identity? Everything you do now will be analyzed after the dust settles. Will your actions' identity be as consistent? And that really makes you ponder and think about what it is that's grounding your decisions now and in the future. So our purpose at BDO is helping you succeed. We articulated this to the business 5 years ago. When I say articulated it, because it was absolutely prevalent for many years before this, our purpose is enduring. And it speaks really at the heart of why we do what we do. It was a big discovery exercise. It was a 12-month engagement process. It involved all of our partners and most of our people across the business, and has really resonated and has become additional glue in respect of that strategic framework. So we continue to meet with all of our business leaders on a regular basis across the firm to share central updates around our entire strategic framework, but very importantly also our core purpose. And our purpose continues to keep us focused. I would say now equally, if not even more important during these current times. And the narrative that we have used to navigate recent months is anchored in our purpose. So we very much internally talk about our focus on protecting the business and our people. So that is very linked with helping you succeed. And our focus on our people ensures that the decisions we make now are also taken in the firm with that long-term lens in place. And in respect to the long term, we also, as Richard was saying earlier about thinking big and thinking small, we need to think about the environment which we find ourselves in. And we are in a change environment. That brings opportunities. So that's the third point I want to talk about today is the opportunities of a change environment. So we have used a framework called Rethink. It talks about how we react in the immediate term, the resilience we want to build in the more medium term, and longer term, how we're going to realise our ambitions as a business. We're using this internally, but we're also using it to help our clients navigate these interesting times as well. So again, this framework is anchored by our build strategy. That keeps us consistent across the business. And then we look at what it is that it is crucial in respect of the immediate, how we're going to work with our people, what that new way of working is going to look like. In respect to the medium, some of those financial implications that are going to feed through, particularly if we enter a deep recession, what the new normal might be and what the opportunities will be from that. And then longer term, therefore, the strategic considerations that will be vital to our continued success. And we've seen a change at pace really not experienced before, well, certainly not in my 18 years at BDO. And I do like the quote, crisis is the mother of all innovation. And actually, this is a fantastic opportunity. Crisis provides a welcoming, I term calling welcoming environment for change. And what we're finding in respect to some of the change that we've brought in the last few months is that people are far more forgiving. And when there is a crisis, when there's a call to arms, people are much more receptive. They understand the need for change, that in it together, and they don't expect it to be perfect. So this very much has led for us to the rise of the agile approach. We were doing agile projects before, but very much a rise of that. But I have already started to observe that window is very small and it's already closing. We have in our member firm network, our Dutch firm and our Australia firm, and I connect with them regularly. They returned to their offices fairly recently, and already people are displaying previous habits. So although it takes a short period of time to create new habits, it can be even quicker to go back to those old established habits that we've had in place for decades. So to transform and optimize business processes, behaviors, new ways of working, we really need to work hard at maintaining what it is that we want to achieve and what we might have identified during this change period in the last few months that have optimized the way in which we do business. So we really need to identify those and ring fence them. And when sitting back and thinking about it and talking to the business around change, I very much think that in actual fact, it's probably harder to go back to where we were previously than to move forward to where we want to be. So in conclusion, number one, having a strategy provides direction, clear communication and ambition. Number two, having it anchored by a purpose makes it even more powerful. And finally, number three, strategic priorities need to adapt during times of change to make the most of the change environment, to identify what is optimal for your business, and then we all need to work hard to make that stick.